the weekend that everything changed. Is that what you want to call it?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna go. Did you say what?
Nothing changed for us.
No. Yeah. So we're gonna go over the slate of games that we saw this weekend. Discuss some thoughts we had on these games. Of course, discuss. I'm down to discuss the Alabama debacle, and then we'll discuss some Auburn stuff. Of course, Auburn out of the gate. We'll talk about that. We went to Georgia. There were some obvious issues there. A lot of people are saying that was a good game, that we're closer each game. There was a lot of mistakes that were there. There's some blame going back and forth. Of course, everybody wants to talk about the one play where, they're saying even Hugh said that Peyton checked down where it should have been a run to the left. We ran to a side with no protection. But I think there was a lot more to that game also. Just receiver-wise, I'm sure Shark, he knows all the stats. Shark, what was your opinion on that game? I mean, it seemed like when we needed the hands that we thought we'd be able to count on this year weren't quite there.
The biggest miss I saw, and I still think it was a little bit underthrown, was the Simmons reception in the end zone that should have been a touchdown. Went kind of right through his hands, but it still was a bit underthrown. But man, you should catch that ball. But I mean, Coleman and Thompson both dropped one ball each, and then were targeted one other time and badly overthrown. So I don't know who you look at there. Of course, KLS had a fantastic week, like he does everything at half the receiving yards.
Yeah. But
no touchdowns. No, Peyton went for 200 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. And all I heard all after that was how much better we looked and no turnovers. And I'm thinking, you know what? When you turn over on fourth down and it's your fault, that's a turnover.
That is a turnover.
So I'm going to go ahead and grant him 2 of those because there was a third down in the earlier in the game where he threw a route short that was supposed to be a kind of like a decoy route, and the guy that was open for a first down, and he threw it short, 3 yards short. And I think he did that at the very end of the game too. But KLS caught that and got down in a hurry, so that was a pretty sick little route. But I'm still baffled why you only give Hunter 13 touches. He got 91 yards and a touchdown on 13 touches. And Thorne has as many touches as Hunter does, and he only had 22 yards. Damari had as many yards as Peyton did on 4 touches. It's just ridiculous how it worked out. So I saw Keontae Scott made the same mistake he's been making. He cost us a touchdown, and so over and over and over again. Repeat, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, I haven't heard an explanation during all the press conferences when the run's working, we get away from it and it hasn't even been stopped yet.
No, nobody stopped it yet. Nobody, and especially Georgia hasn't. They shut down KLS pretty well with a guy who's going to be an NFL cornerback next year. But the defensive line Georgia has is really, it might be bottom 4, which I don't understand. But in a year or two, they'll be great. There was no point in stopping rushing on those, especially on 4th down and 1. If you get turned around and handed to 27 against one of the worst defensive lines in the league, I don't even know what to tell you.
Well, even like in the first half, you could see him work through his checkdowns, but when it came time to soft touch one out to Jarquez or whoever he had as his check down, it was like he'd either bullet throw it 3 feet in front of him. It's still killing us that even when we check down, we have him open. We still can't just hit that single one play that we can still pick up, 5 6 yards.
And the one good out he threw wasn't really a great throw when he threw it to the side for Simmons there, who caught it and just bolted it. You saw the kind of lightning he's got.
Yeah,
that wasn't a good throw. If that'd been a good throw, he might have housed that. So I don't know. It feels like we're getting this Thorne conversation every week. Everybody knows where I stand on it, but I guess we're going to have it every week, except for this week. This week we're safe, but until then, after that, I don't know. I have an interesting question along those lines later on.
Okay. I like those. Charlie, looking back at it, I keep seeing the QB keepers where he's calling his own number. He checks to call his own number, especially that we had a 3rd and long early in the first half. He's killing me.
You mean the 3rd and 10 QB draw wasn't in the repertoire?
That blew my mind. I mean, I don't understand. Like, you know, he was saying, "Oh, he's a thinker," but man, like we gotta. Like I keep seeing people saying, take some of that away from that. He doesn't need to make every decision.
About
I
none.
think he thinks he's smarter than he is. Like, I think he thinks, I guess his dad's like a coach. I think he's thinks he's just outsmarting people and doesn't have the athletic ability to do it.
The ESPN has done the coach's son story every freaking. And I'm like, okay. He's like, he's a coach's son, Division II. Okay.
Division, and his grandpappy coached Division III. But let's face it. I mean, Peyton Thorne has as many runs. Like I said, he had 13 runs. Hunter had 13 runs. Peyton called his known number 12 times. There was only one design run in there. And when 12 times for 22 yards and no touchdowns, that's – you tell me.
Yeah.
And, 15 of those are on one play, too, by the way. I mean, so you take out 15 from 20, 7 yards. So 7 yards on 11 carries that he called his own number.
I was looking specifically when we got down into the red zone, where did Jarquez go? And we, again, off the field he went. And I mean, you're consistently hearing everywhere we play, this guy's one of the best running backs in the country. His numbers are still showing up as some of the best numbers, but it's by his own work. I mean,
he's loaded. Boxes are loaded, and he's still getting it done. But we just won't give him an opportunity. 13 carries. Everybody in the planet says 20 carries for this kid. 13 carries. We're going to let Peyton Thorne, who runs a 40 about the same length of time as I do, we're going to let him do it. But I don't know. I have a question. Since we're on the topic, and obviously we've beat this to death. We're coming off a bye. We're going to have a bye week, and then we're going to come in. We have 6 games. We've got to win 4 of them. Do you keep Peyton in? Do you go to Hank? Because you got to. You need to get to 6 games for the practices. I don't care, and none of the fans care about this. Nobody cares about the Birmingham Bowl. But you need the 6 wins to have the extra 13, 15 practice. That's like having an extra spring training for these kids. You need it, but are you willing to put up with Peyton Thorne to try to get it? Are you willing? Because I think there's games in there. Hank is actually a better choice than Thorne, but y'all tell me. That's what I was going to ask y'all.
Charlie, what do you got?
I think if you put Hank in, it makes you have to feed Jarquez because he doesn't have the athletic ability that Peyton does or the supposed knowledge and the experience to change the play. I think you put Jarquez or put Hank in there and you rely on Jarquez.
Yeah,
and then you have the play action.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you put Hank in and you have to limit the playing book down to where he's not making checkdowns at the line to shoot you in the foot.
Because you got to do that with Thorne too.
And not RPOs. Just call the run play. Take the RPO out.
Yeah, and every time they interview him, and he's a kid. Everybody says he's a kid. I get it, but he's in the spotlight and he's doing interviews, and so I feel like I can say whatever I want. Every time he does interviews, he is extremely smart, and he's able to explain everything that he was looking at, and it's all right. What he's saying, like his explanation makes sense, but it's the wrong thing to do at the time. Like it's not there the way he sees it being there. He's saying he's doing everything he's been taught to do, but it's at the wrong time, wrong place, wrong spot. It's not.
And it's not. And you can see that frustration on Coach's face. He's really not. He was told specifically, "Hey, you run a dive left on the 4th and 1." He went out there and administratively on his own after the 15 seconds cut off for the hearing. The audio conferencing, however you want to phrase that. And he didn't even tell Jarquez the right play. You could tell by the way Jarquez.
He threw his hands up in the air after the plays.
Yeah, nobody knew the play except for Thorne. Thorne's like, I'm going to call my own number here. And
those 3 Georgia guys called his number too because they were
they did.
Like if you're playing,
Jarquez block a defensive end.
Yeah. If you're playing, block those 3 guys. If you're playing basic video game and you look down and your entire offensive line is over here and there's 3 guys over here,
you go the other way.
Where does that? I don't understand. I don't get it. So I don't know how he thought I'm going to trick them. They think I'm going that way because everybody's over there. I don't know.
Hey, y'all saw Freeze get him on the sidelines. He
Yes.
was tearing him, and that was exactly probably word for word with some more profanity in there what he was saying. It's like I called the play, you run the play. We were running this ball game still, and off you go. And I don't know that it. Like I said, I don't know where we go from here. I would love to see Hank Brown in 2 weeks in Missouri. Does he give us who gives us the best chance to get to 6 wins so we get those extra 15 practices? And what happens? Like you owe it to the fan base to get those to get the team ready for next year, which
Yeah,
is kind of Hank Brown.
Early people coming in that can.
Yeah.
To me, it's I don't know. I'm not a coach. I don't know ball. I'll never say I know ball. But it's the same thing we said last week. Where's his ceiling? If that's his ceiling, then Hank's ceiling is either right there or slightly above it. I mean, so how do you not? I would go the other way. I would be like, we've seen this, and this is the same, and it's not changing. Nothing's changing right now.
Yeah, and you got to think that I've never heard a head coach 6 games in the season go, "This is not a good season." And that was the way he opened the press conference. I've never heard that before, and I was like, I mean, he's brutally honest. He's like, "This is not a good season." So why not check it? Why not go, "Hey, I think Hank can win just as many games as Peyton can from now, and we're probably going to lose to Vanderbilt because that little dude's bad at he's good at what he does."
Boy.
And I say let it play itself out, but I don't know. I don't know why he's going to ride that thorn train all the way to the ground. I did hear today. I'm going to throw this out there. Not today. Yesterday, I heard a number coming out of Auburn from people and they said, whatever this year, but there better be nine, at least 9 wins next year, and then playoffs after that. Yeah. So you're going. Well, you're not looking like when you're dropping. You didn't progress from year 1 to year 2, so there better be a big jump next year to get to 9 wins, or you're on the hot seat, believe it or not. I hate to say it.
2 things you said there takes me to kind of our next thing which is the Alabama Vanderbilt thing. One of them you said was the press conference, which I want to talk about DeBoer's press conference after the game, and then the other thing is our recruiting is number 3 now in the nation. It could be 1 at the end of it. DeBoer literally inherited one of the best teams in history statistically and just did what he did. So those are 2 things, Hank, everybody's saying, yeah, Hugh better do this next year with these numbers. Look at what they just did. And that blows my mind. And so I was going to ask Charlie specifically because we've talked about Saban so much. I've got, as an Auburn fan, I respect that dude. Especially now that he's not over there on the other side, I respect that dude 1,000% because he's got standards. And I can't say morals because I don't know his morals, but his standards, and they are black and white. And it's you do this and you're out. You do this and you're in. Play by my rules, follow my process, and this is the way it goes. After watching the way that this game went, and specifically how it fell apart at the end with all the weird personal problems that started happening, DeBoer's press conference and the way he acted on the sideline was awful. I mean, he looked like he either didn't know what to do, didn't care, or was just frozen in fear. I don't understand. Well, I mean, did you see how soft-spoken he was he wasn't even apologetic about Malachi. He was just saying, well, he was better when he got to the locker room.
No, I didn't see the press conference. I mean, I watched the game, saw the end of the game, saw the meltdown by the players. But Bama's recruiting is right there with Auburn's for next year. Am I wrong?
Well, yeah. No, you're right.
No, they're number 2.
So, yeah, that's what I thought. So, but I mean, they had a complete meltdown. But if you watch that game, they got beat. That wasn't a hangover. It's like when I watched the thing with McElroy today. They didn't know it was a hangover. They got outplayed. They got outcoached. They got out everything.
Yeah. When that came out
exposed.
I was kind of watching Twitter while it was happening and watching how some of the fans, they're like, halftime, hey, we're not going to lose this game. Y'all chill out. We're Alabama. But, I mean, they came right back out. Vandy just started right back where they left off. It wasn't
Yep.
a jump on you, surprise you second half. It was a full 60-minute beatdown. They never. I mean, it wasn't a caught you off guard. They stayed on.
No, they executed their game plan to perfection. Like you look at the time of possession, especially in the first half. They had the ball like 20 minutes, and I mean it was like a huge disparity or discrepancy between the time of possession. They just controlled the game.
And like I said last week, Georgia in that second half showed everybody in the country how to beat Alabama. And there's nothing
Mhm.
Alabama can do about it. And Vanderbilt followed the plan and did it. Had some great quarterback play, which I haven't seen great quarterback play because I've watched mostly Auburn games. But great
You saw
quarterback
some.
play. Yeah, I saw him. Yeah.
They played great.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's it right there. I still think they lose 3 or 4 games this year.
Just because of what's on my hat and behind me and everything, I hope so too. I have nothing but ill will towards that uniform and everything about it.
You ain't wearing a burner hat, might as well be wearing houndstooth.
Yeah. Let's see, Pavia 252 yards passing and 56 yards rushing. It seemed like more than that. That dude was everywhere. Man,
Well, there was plays he ran 56 yards on one play just to get 3 yards, and keep the drive going.
Dude, he is scrappy. Like that dude is. There's no stop. It was nuts just watching. Like we were saying right before we came on here. There's 3 or 4 options that you have to plan for, and he's doing stuff. He's faking the shuttle pass because his shuttle pass is deadly. That thing is like a sniper. I mean, you don't even see it. That dude's gone, and then he'll fake that. He'll fake this toss over here, and then meanwhile he's going to run a dead sprint to the sideline and then whip it 50 yards. We saw it last year. I could not wait to watch that game, and when it started going like that, I was
thinking, I was like, yeah, y'all laughed at us. This is the first time you've lost to Vanderbilt in 40 years.
That's right. So yeah, I even I did the math, and I think yesterday was 322 days since we had played Diego Pavia, and I swear to God, one of those fans has said New Mexico State every single day since then.
Oh yeah.
Now
Now,
just say Vandy every day until we get beat by them, but Vandy every day.
and we weren't number 1, so
No kid. Neither were they apparently.
Yeah, but I mean, Malachi Moore just had a complete come apart. When he picked up Diego's face mask and slammed his head into the ground, and nobody, I mean, I know that their sideline, the refs didn't call anything, and I know their sideline had to see that.
Yeah.
DeBoer's just standing there,
and then made excuses for him. So
yeah, well, he feels strongly. He's a competitor.
I think everybody on that field at that level feels strongly in our competitors. You don't get to do that.
Yeah, and you know how to handle yourself.
I think DeBoer is going to realize he's in over his head in the SEC.
Starting to look for that NFL coaching job.
Yeah. And you said it last week, didn't you? DeBoer was going to be going to the NFL. We should write that down. Yeah, we should keep that noted. But I know personally speaking, I have friends that are Bama fans. I admit that. I don't like their uniforms. I don't like their clothes and all that stuff. But I do have friends that we can discuss ball, and they are pissed to see that kind of behavior on the field, embarrassed. I mean, and I kind of wonder. I mean, Saban's still there. He's still working there. He has, to me, he's got to come downstairs and be like, "Hey, listen up, but this is not."
He left his office when he took over the talking gig there, so he's not still upstairs. Yeah,
everybody's been saying he's got both. Okay,
yeah, he can't. He supposedly he left his office. You know how that works. I mean, but they're staring down what they don't have any bye weeks left. I think I know they're staring down South Carolina, Tennessee, which who knows after last week, Missouri, who knows, LSU. I forget who their free game is. Then Oklahoma, then us. So. That's a pretty tough little schedule.
Yeah.
For the Houndstooth.
Everybody playing up and down. You don't know who's what these days.
If Tennessee has a chance, you know they're going to try to lay it on Alabama. They may have laid it egg at Arkansas, but if they have a chance, they're going to put it on Alabama.
Yeah, they're going to play way up. Speaking of Tennessee, that was crazy. Just I thought they were
know what we're doing, huh?
I thought they were for real. Like I really did. And then I know I picked them because of the spread and whatnot, but I mean, that was nuts. So just to see, I mean, another one where it wasn't a fluke thing. It just kept going. I mean, I'm so used to seeing these teams that'll pop back up after a quarter or two, like you would hope Auburn would do, and we typically don't. But they never could just get it back under control once it started going downhill. And then, I mean, all of a sudden, is it Nico? I don't know what is it. I am a Liba. I am a Lieba. I don't know. It just. I mean, maybe his age showed up, but man, everything just went to crap.
Yeah, I don't think it was I think it was just that freshman on the road against an SEC team. He locked it up a little bit. They did some different things, and I think he'll learn a lot from that. So I'm not sure it was next because it wasn't that beat down. I mean, Arkansas scored 14 points in like 2 minutes in the third quarter. Tennessee did. And then there was just, I can't remember what the mistake was, but then it wasn't like it was a lot. It was 19-14 Arkansas. It wasn't like this was a butt whooping or anything. I think this is the one. I think Tennessee's still good.
It's one of those ones where I just kept thinking, Tennessee's going to pull away, right? They're going to pull away. They just never could put the death nail in there.
But if Arkansas's got that, you got the Auburn defensive coordinator. The guy should be DC at Auburn right now. And as long as they've got him, they got a chance.
Yeah. Boy. Yeah. And I love Arkansas. I love what's their head coach? Sam Pittman. Yeah, Sam Pittman. I think I said it one time. Him, Edo, I'm fans of that. I'm like that blue collar offensive lineman coach. Those teams are freaking amazing. I just love them get down and dirty and just play a team like that. It's not flashy. They're not tricking anybody. They're just going to get you.
Mm-hmm. It's not like it's not like we're talking about the A&M game here. Mm-hmm. I mean that's not Tennessee did not play to that level down that Missouri did. So.
Yeah. So talking about A&M, what happened? I was watching it. It just looked like Missouri. I mean, so one of the things that I did make a little note on that because Luther Burton, once their team started getting down, man, their players started pouting. They were on the sidelines sitting by themselves. I mean, it was like, okay, this is the culture like that. They didn't know what to do. There was nobody to pull anybody up and say, hey, we're going to do this. But that team just fell apart and turned into a bunch of pouting kids on the sideline and just never even got back into it.
Baffling for a team that has such a great quarterback receiver skill set. I'm still saying that's the best wide receiver room in the league, and Brady Cook can toss it. It was amazing to me that they just quit like that.
Yeah, they quit. I mean, the looks on their faces, the way they were acting was very it wasn't Alabama because Alabama, they were pissed off, but these guys were just dejected. They were just like, I'm done. And then you start to wonder, I'm sitting there watching it and we talked about NIL and you start to wonder about that.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm here to play for me. I'm here to play for this money and this guy's screwing me up or this guy's screwing me up, and then I don't know. It just really fell apart. I didn't see anything Drink said afterwards, but not that I would even search out what Drink said, but
or be able to spell it to Google it.
Right. Yeah. That's why I call him Drink.
When you talk about Sam Pittman and that type of coach, I mean, that's A&M's coach.
Right.
I mean, if you can win at Duke, you can just about win anywhere, probably.
Yeah.
The only thing they had against them was that one loss against Notre Dame first game of the year. So maybe A&M's actually better than we expected.
Yeah, I think they are.
Well, we knew they had the talent. We just didn't think the coach could put it together that quick because Jimbo could never do it. But I mean, they've got plenty of 5-stars on that team to have a program. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think. I mean, that's a coach going into his next year that's one to watch because he's only going to get, like you say, coming from Duke now, he's only going to keep getting better and better. The more people he gets, I mean, he's got the pattern going. We're looking at it thinking we thought there was a pattern here, but we can't see the next part of the pattern. His is steady climb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of our big,
Trend.
our trend, Auburn North, Michigan there, did you see them bail against Minnesota? They can't throw a ball to save their life either.
That made me sad. Yeah.
They brought out a third string quarterback, Mr.
Yeah.
Tuttle's kid.
Yeah, they're just going to keep on. Yeah, what did you call him?
It's Mr. Tuttle from Saved by the Bell. It's his
Saved by
son.
the Bell, Is it really? No.
Oh, his name is
last
Jack
name.
Tuttle.
Okay. I was like,
He's a 6-year player. I heard that him and Olave that play for the Saints graduated high school together. Olave's been in the NFL for 3 years.
yeah, these like 5 and 6 year players, man, it's crazy. They're spread out all over the place too, and they're the ones that are supposed to be good. Peyton Thorne, isn't this his 5th year?
If they're
Yep.
good, they'd be in the NFL.
4th year as a starter. Like I said, he's got nearly 50 starts. Still can't.
That's one of the points they made about Malachi Moore. You can pitch a fit all you want, but you're a graduate player because why? Because you didn't get drafted. You're
Yeah.
still hanging
I mean,
around.
it's like, Bo Nix had to go to Oregon to become an NFL player.
Yes.
Yep, because who was it that was better than him? TJ Finley was better than him.
Yeah.
That's the same thing we're fixing to do with Hank Brown, by the way.
Yeah, you called it. I'm hoping. I mean, I hate to go right back where we were, but my gosh. I mean, like you said, what is
Speaking
the
of Hank
harm?
Brown, is he Trent Dilfer?
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Not just his loss, like living here. Did you hear about the press conference or the podcast he did? Where he was talking about, yeah, you should like basically go to other universities for better quality athletics.
Yeah.
Well, it started last week when he made some reference, and he tried to cover it up by saying he was talking to his grandson or something, but he made a reference to the media that this ain't Alabama. And then the next day, he tried to backtrack it and say something. He got snappy with the media, and then did the podcast, and then got 70 dropped on you.
Yeah, big time.
Really wish
So-
that one of the reporters that said, no, you're not Alabama, you're University of Alabama, Birmingham, not
Birmingham.
Tuscaloosa campus.
Yeah, he said if you're to play volleyball, you should go check out Louisville. They have a great program. And then even
Yeah.
started talking about recruiting. And they said it was the AD. I'm not sure if it was his boss that was sitting there with him. That was like, yeah, we'd like for them to come play here too. But that ship had sailed at that point. There was no recovering it. I wish it was the only thing I've seen was an audio. I would love to see a video of the face that happened.
I haven't seen the video if there is one.
I don't know that there is. I think it might have been only audio. Michigan, yeah. I have a soft spot for Michigan, and that absolutely,
Yeah, they got a couple of soft spots too.
yeah, they do. Man,
Auburn North.
I thought Sharon Moore was for real. But I mean, the quarterback swapping, it's too familiar. It's too painful to talk about when we're doing the same thing.
Yeah. And then you sit there, then you go like the whole conversation about, okay, well, USC went in the big house and beat Michigan. And then what happened to them? I mean, Minnesota.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Got sniped with the rest of them this weekend.
Not Auburn. Auburn met and exceeded expectations.
So
We
that,
lied.
I actually counted that as a win. I said, hey, you can look all over the place. And the one team that I know that played the way we thought they were going to play was Auburn.
No, because I didn't. I mean, I really called for 3 interceptions, so I can't say it was exactly the way I thought I was going to play. But yeah,
So Clemson, FSU, I really thought FSU was going to be better than that, and they were. If you watch the game, they could have done so much more than that. But you talk about dropped balls that were hitting players in the hands. Like he actually threw way better passes than DJ has thrown. He looked really good, but there's so many clips of, I mean, they're hitting them in the hands. and they're just dropping them. I mean, I'm chunk plays too, and I just, I mean, yeah, I picked them. I really thought.
Yeah, you're wrong. I heard a Georgia fan. But no, FSU's not good. They could be, but they're not good, and there was no way they were going to beat the game. Miami's going to just walk them at some point this season. It's going to be great to see. Just one last thing on the Auburn game. I just didn't realize that they paid, for the first time this year, they played 7 freshmen on homecoming against Auburn. So, see, they're still celebrating.
Yes.
But they played 7.
What?
I don't know what he's doing.
You got an Alabama fan prowling. But they played 7 freshmen against Auburn. And on homecoming. People don't realize that. They beat us 31-13. They played 7 freshmen, true freshmen, on homecoming. And it was the first time they were like, yeah, we can handle Auburn. So just let that sink in a little bit.
Did not know that. That one hurts. SMU, Brett Lashley, doing a lot. I didn't know it was going to be to that degree, and they definitely did everything. I guess maybe he is who some of our people said he was when he left.
Just not an SEC guy. He's not an SEC guy, but he's a good core. He's a good coach. It's like Malzahn.
Did y'all watch the SMU game?
Yeah.
The referees kind of helped them there a little bit.
Didn't hurt them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the same with the Missouri. That's kind of like saying the Missouri game versus Texas A&M. That was a first 2 or 3 calls, and that one were pretty nailing Missouri as well.
Yes.
You mentioned Gus. That train is falling off the rails.
That blew my mind. That really did. I thought
they got run out of town by Colorado, and then they had 2 guys leave last week, get in the transfer portal, starters, and then to lose at Florida.
Florida.
Well, I mean, Florida should beat them. I mean, let's say that. I didn't expect them to, but Florida should beat them. Florida is an SEC school.
Yeah, they should. But the way they looked this year, I really didn't think. I thought I was going to pull that one out. And like you said, there was no gas in the Gus bus.
Yeah, they gave Alabama everything they had. I think that was it for them. So, and they showed a little bit about how Alabama could be beat easily as well. So maybe he's looking for that Arkansas job and upset because Sam Pittman's winning up there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's not going. They'd be fools to do anything at Arkansas. That
Gus's next stop is back to high school.
He'll take all that money we paid him and go retire somewhere.
Yes.
Eat Waffle House.
He's probably like the rest of them. He's probably got a house in Auburn anyway.
He does, and about 4 other places.
Miami Cal. That was. So is Cal that good?
No.
But this quarterback Mendoza, we made him look like an all-star. He's only gotten better. I don't know if we sparked him into, hey, I'm pretty good. But I mean,
we've been known to do that.
Yeah, he actually looked really good too. I mean, he's become mobile. Like when he came to Auburn, they were like, yeah, he wasn't recruited. He was, I can't remember if he walked on or not. I mean, Pavia walked on where he started. He was a 2-star, but same thing with him, man. He looked pretty good. I thought they had him, but no. I thought, at that point, I was just pulling for every upset because we had gotten so many. I was like, chaos. Let's just go for it.
To me, watching that game made me think that Miami's better than we think they are because they had the guts to come back from that kind of a deficit and win that ball game. And I'm not seeing a whole lot of teams that are able to do that right now.
Yeah, what is that? I can't remember that receiver's name. Restrepo.
Yeah.
Javier, yeah.
Holy moly. Yeah. His when he hits the afterburners,
you go. And he's nowhere near as fast as Simmons that we have. So,
yeah. So this
week, us making Cal's quarterback look so good. Going back to the game Saturday, our DBs, they just picked them apart.
Yeah.
Well, not really. his average was so high. 23 or 29 for 240 is pretty good, but most of those were within 5 yards. Now he did beat Kay and Lee pretty tough once, and he got Keontae twice. But
Yeah. Those are
for
good.
two. But what gets me about our DBs, speaking of that, is like they're not ball hawking at all. Like they're chasing the entire time, which is what you expect from kids that are. This is a fresh defensive backfield that's going to be much, much better next year.
But I mean, like you said, there's some of the fastest people in the country. And they're
Well,
constantly
Keontae's like a
behind.
fourth, yeah.
Yeah, they're constantly behind the person that they're supposed to be on.
Now, Keontae kind of caught one this weekend. He got his toe stepped on and couldn't get turned around. And so I kind of give him, not Keontae, Kayan
Yeah.
got his toe stepped on. The guy got behind him for a long throw. That one I kind of give him credit for. It's hard to play that. It's hard to play DB when you got a guy that's just as fast as you are and 5 inches taller than you are. Interesting camera shot there.
Oh, man. You have to edit. That's going to be the first edit. Tag comment. You were good. Thing fell down. Man. We're going to be good for a straight 30 and then.
Whole new podcast happened just then.
Yeah.
We'll just switch topics.
Maybe we should just leave
Modern
it
after dark.
in. Good.
Ready to lay on top of Pavia, weren't you?
Yeah. Hey, how do you get a goalpost out of the stadium? Somebody tell me the physics of this.
How do you get all the way down Broadway into the water? Tell me the physics like that.
I mean,
3
Tennessee did
miles
it too.
with it.
What'd you say?
3 miles is how far they carried that thing.
Almost 4.
Yeah, they ended up with a full-on police escort.
And then yet at some point they were like, we can't go forever, so we're just going to throw this crap in the water. So I thought that was pretty clever.
Tennessee did it too a couple of years ago, and I just can't. I mean, maybe Vanderbilt with all the engineers, they had something worked out. But how do you get that thing out? I can't. So I picture them in Jordan-Hare. What do? Do you pass it up the student section and then drop it? I don't know how to get it out. That's all.
Well, luckily for us, we're not going to be rushing the field for any time soon, so we don't have to worry about that. So good for Vanderbilt.
That's true.
And it probably was engineers. It probably was. Now that you say it, it was some very, very smart engineers that probably fell out of Georgia Tech, or Georgia Tech turned down that went to Vanderbilt, and it's just like, yeah, we can get this out. Hey, it's like moving a couch up the stairs. You gotta.
Yeah.
And they knew how.
Oh, man. I tried to remember. It was a Friends episode. I was trying to remember how they get that couch up. But yeah, I mean, it was in one piece. It wasn't like they took it apart and got it out. They took it to Broadway in one piece.
They're already cutting it up to sell to fans to pay for the fine, which is cool.
How much is it, and how do I get a piece of it?
I don't know. I would buy a piece of it. I mean, I'm so proud of them, and I'm gonna hold all judgment until we play them. If we beat them, I'll be insufferable.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna hold judgment though. I'm gonna right now re-ring.
But back to what we're talking about before we did the crotch shot there.
Yeah.
I don't know that you can say Beck picked them apart. The defensive back, he picked the linebackers apart. I'll give him that. Every time he would see a linebacker shift, because we kept putting Riddick in, we kept moving guys in and out. I don't know if it was injury or just trying to get more experience. They're doing that a lot on defense, trying to build depth, I guess. Every time he'd see one, he'd pick on one. So that's where I would say, like, I didn't see him really nail a safety at all. I saw Sylvester was in there at safety at one point, and he got really, really creamed on a running play, but I didn't see anything that Beck did that was not like we didn't make him look like a Heisman like we do everybody else.
No, not at all. I just like looking at his stats and the way every time they needed a play, they made a play, or he made a play.
Yeah. What was his long, by the way? Do you know?
His long?
No.
33 yards? Yeah. No?
End.
He hit Lucky for 33 yards. I know that much. Yeah, that's the longest, and then Young in the second. So he had a 27 and a 33. Those were his two longs. The rest of it's pretty much nickel and dime stuff. And I think that 27-yarder was only like a 3-yard pass. So.
Well, that one to the tight end wasn't that long either. The 33, the Lucky.
Yeah.
That was just like a crossing route, I think.
Yeah, I think it was like a 12-yard slant that he hit, and just nobody was there to tackle him. That was bad defensive call. I don't think that was beating anybody, but I'm not going to make excuses. I just want to know where we go from here.
I don't know. I mean, Connor Wegman, I went back to that because I forgot. That dude was money.
One of y'all called that last week. I can't remember who it was. One of you were like, "It's because Connor wasn't supposed to play," and one of y'all said
we were
Connor
both
played.
looking at it, and because he was listed as, I can't remember. He was listed. They really wouldn't answer
Questionable.
questions,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden he went to questionable on Saturday morning, I think. And I texted him. I was like, "There it is, man."
And boy, he don't want to lose that job, does he? He looked
No.
pretty good. Of course, he may look good against Missouri right now. Their defense is. They might even let Peyton Thorne throw one or two on them.
Yeesh.
He threw a couple to him as well. So
Chick-fil-A.
He didn't test out if they could catch or not, like the Georgia guys. We'll find out.
Yeah, no, you called that, and then they never got a chance to catch.
no, just like you said, he turned the ball over on downs instead of throwing it to him.
Yeah, he did bounce the ball in front of a couple of defenders. Does that count?
Yes, yes, totally counts. And those were the ones I was talking about, where it was like, "Oh, look, he's got a little swing pass, kadunk."
No. He had one curl route. He bounced 3 yards in front of the receiver. I'm like,
Yes.
what are you even aiming at? Groundhogs.
So this week we won't have to pick against our own team, and that's cool. But there is still a pretty good slate of games: Ole Miss, LSU, and then Ohio State, Oregon. Georgia's got Mississippi State, and the Penn State USC game could be. It'd be interesting. I would like to see that one.
I don't think that's going to be. Well, I mean, we'll make our picks later in the week. So
Right.
we'll get into
I'm
it
just
more.
looking ahead at what's on the slate. That one's one I'm interested in, that one going into the week too, because they played up and down. Who hadn't played? There's only one team that hasn't played up and down.
Well, Ohio State hadn't really played anybody yet, and neither is really Oregon. So
No, those are both totally unproven at this point.
yeah, so we're going to find out a little bit about that Saturday.
True. All right.
You'll hear Kirby Patterson's fans.
Yeah, I did. So I saw a headline that said it.
Said he was said for the first time he was disappointed in the fans because he doesn't feel like they affected the game at all.
I agree with that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there was never a moment where it was like overwhelming or too loud or anything.
No, I mean, it's almost it was a
sad
tame.
comment on us, really. It's a comment on us of being like, the fans are like, it's homecoming. We're playing a homecoming team.
Yeah, we beat them 8 times in a row. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
They were just now. If there had been an interception, they would have hollered.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's what we got for Sunday, episode 4. That was some good stuff. I want to try and find, if anybody's watching and wants to be a guest picker this week, you won't have to pick against Auburn or for Auburn because they're not on the slate. Let's see if we can get somebody on here that's to do some guest picks, and we will get that recorded. I'll get this edited and up there, and everybody watching, thank you. Appreciate it. Hopefully we can, hopefully it's entertaining. Hopefully you're having as much fun if you get a chance to see it as we're having. And we will catch you guys next time. Thank you.